Okay, so this is a video about the May-June 2022 pre-release, and it is the Wildlife Park one. Now, this one is a little bit different to the others, but we still need to go through it. It's still 3 tasks, just like the others. But this time we're going to be starting off with task 1. We're displaying the ticket options and extra attractions available. Set up your program to display the options, attractions and prices for 1-day tickets. Display the options, attractions and prices for 2-day tickets. Show the days available for booking. Assume that there are tickets available for any valid day. And for the Wildlife Park, as you can see, the way that they are structured, it says bookings consist of 1 or more tickets for the same day and can be made up to a week in advance. A booking can be made for a visit of 1 day or 2 consecutive days. A booking can have extra attractions included, and those extra attractions are line feeding, penguin feeding and an evening barbecue if it's the 2-day ticket only. A booking will be valid for the days chosen only. Okay, so the interesting thing about this is it says, obviously we still need to, like all pre-releases, write and test the program with appropriate prompts, and data must be validated on entry. All outputs, including error messages, need to be set out clearly, and all variables constants should have meaningful names. There's nowhere in this task where it asks us to save the booking, so we are actually going to do that, but most of the pre-releases generally have a lot of ways that you have to save the data sort of in one-dimensional arrays, but for this one we don't really need to do that. Okay, let's do task 1. So task 1 is fairly simple. We're just displaying the ticket options and the extra attractions available so that we can show all those things as we said. So let's load up a new file and we're going to code that. Open up Python idle and code along. So I've opened up Python idle with a new file, and the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to write down what and put in comments what we need to do. So it's always a good idea to do that if you are for some reason it's done it twice. I'm not quite sure why. Let's try and do that again. There we go. And I'm just going to, so I've copied and pasted it. I'm just going to hashtag it so that it's ignored by the Python compiler, interpreter I should say. And then I'm going to do the first one, which is display the options, attractions and prices for 1-day tickets. So if we have a look at that, we can see we've got adult ticket, child ticket, senior ticket, family ticket or group of 6 people or more. So what I've done is I've actually saved the ticket types in an array here. It's a single line of code that creates a one-dimensional array called ticket type, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things in it. And you don't have to set it up as an array, but I've done it old habits die hard, I guess. And we're going to print this out. It will be easier to print, I think. We could do lots of print statements, but I think we'll just stick with using an array for now. Okay, so that's the first line of code. So the next line of code is we're going to add the extra attraction tickets. If I can get that in. So here's the extra attraction tickets. It's line feeding. That sounds quite horrific. Penguin feeding or evening barbecue. I'm guessing the line feeding is probably going to be just watching it. It's not actually going to be doing it. That would be probably slightly scary. And I'm guessing anyway, any line feeder will not actually go near the lions. Okay, so that's our extra attraction ticket. Now we need to list the different prices. So if you remember from the question sheet, we've got the different prices on it here. So we need to basically create an array that has all of the costs for 1 day in them. So it's going to have an array and it's going to have 20, 12, 16, 60, 15 in it. So that's our next line of code. Price 1 day, 20, 12, 16, 60, 15. I've done them as an integer. You could do them as a float with the decimal places, but I don't think it matters either way, to be honest. I think it probably looks a bit neater if you just put the 20, 12, etc. So that's our price. We need a second array as well for the 2-day. So let's add in the 2-day array. And you can see here we've got another separate array here, cost for 2 days, and it's got 30, 18, 24, 90, 22, 50. So that's going to be our next array, and another one-dimensional array. And there's my 2-day array there with 30, 18, 24, 90, 22, 50. So we do have to have a float in that one. So just pause the video whenever you need to and get your code written. It's a good idea. I haven't just given you the code because obviously it will go into your brain easier and more completely if you write down the code as well. So just save your code and make sure that it doesn't have any errors. So obviously it's not going to print anything out here. So it keeps doing strange things with that. I'll put wildlife park recording. And yeah, so there's no errors. It's not printing anything out yet though, so that's fine. So it looks like it's not doing anything. It is, it's just creating those arrays and then just deleting them from memory because we don't need them yet. So we've got one more price array to add, and that is the cost per person for the lion feeding. So we need to add that one in. And here is the final one. It's extra price, £2.50, £2 or £5. Okay, so now you have hopefully paused the video and you've got everywhere that you need to, or you've got all this code down. What we're going to do, we have to print this out now. So the first thing that we're going to do a little welcome message, just some print lines. And in fact, yeah, the rest of this is just going to be printing things out. So I'm just going to save this and we're just going to start printing out a welcome message. Obviously you can make your own and design it how you like. I've just done one. You can do whatever you like for this. So I've just got 3 lines of code here. I've got printing with lots of asterisks, welcome to the wildlife park, and then some more asterisks. Pause video and add that, or add your own. And then we're going to print out the tickets. So I've got 2 lines of code here. I've got here are the ticket options for 1-day tickets. And then I've got ticket type, cost for 1 day, cost for 2 days. So I'm actually mimicking what is on the pre-release here. Effectively, I'm just kind of writing out the table here. So I've got ticket type. So that line of code, the final line of code that I've just put is that top line with the headers on it. You can't, I keep selecting the wrong bit, but it's got ticket type, cost for 1 day, cost for 2 days. So if we go back to the code there, we've got ticket type, cost for 1 day, cost for 2 days. And you can see that I've got /T, that's tabs. And I've got 3 here and I've got 2 there because I've played around with the layout and that seems to be how it works best. So actually if we run that, and obviously you need to pause the video and write that yourself. But if I run that, you can see it's got here are the ticket options for 1 day tickets, ticket type, cost for 1 day, cost for 2 days. So it's the header of the table. So now we're going to print out what was in those arrays. And here is the code for printing out those arrays. We've got a simple for loop. We're looping around ticket type for the length of ticket type, and we're printing out the type, the price for 1 day and the price for 2 day. And all those here, they're /T, so they're tabs, and it will tabulate it so that when we print it out, it will look nice, basically under those headings. So pause the video and add that. And then we're going to add, and I'm just going to run it just to show you what it should look like. There we go. And it's printed out, ticket type, 1 adult, 1 child, 1 senior, family 2+3, group 6+. The cost for 1 day, cost for 2 days. We might be able to get away with 1 less tab, but you can play around with that. The main thing is it looks fairly structured and it looks fairly, readable. So now what we're going to do is add the ticket price for 2 days. So it's going to be almost exactly the same. We've got a header just like this, and we've got a for loop just like the other one, but it's got price for 2 days. So I'm just going to make a bit of room here, and we're going to add that in. Sorry, I've got the 2-day ticket there. I lost track of what I was doing. It's the extra attraction prices that I meant, sorry. We've got the extra attraction prices here. This is a blank line here, just the print, open, close brackets, we'll do a blank line. And then we've got the attraction prices here. And then we've got a similar thing with a loop where it just goes through the extra attraction tickets and it prints out what they are and how much they are. So if we run that, if we just pause the video and add that in, and then I'm just going to run that as well. And if I can rearrange my screen, hopefully it will be there. There we go. There we are. And line feeding is 250. You could put $signs in front if you want. It's up to you, you know. Okay, so we've printed all of those out. And the last thing that we need to do is print out the valid days. So this is tricky because we could add what today's date is -7. We could do some date work here. But what I've done is I've just put valid days. I've just put 7 days, basically. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all numbered, and Sunday, obviously, so that they can book those days. So they select which day they want to book, and we just add that in. Valid days you can book: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, so that is task 1, and hopefully you've got that working. The next video next week will have task 2. So task 2 has a bit more work in it, actually. Most of the stuff that we're doing is in task 2. I think that's probably what is going to be asked in the pre-release questions in the exam.